Hey, see that guy down there? That's me. And before this week, I'd never flown a drone. I am a total noob when it comes to flying drones, and I'm going to share my thoughts on the DJI Mini 2 for an absolute beginner. Alright guys, so here we have the DJI Mini 2 Fly More combo, and we're going to get to unboxing this. What in the... I'm just kidding, I've already unboxed this. So here's the little baggie it comes with. It's really convenient. It's actually got a little storage portion on the back here where you can store stuff, maybe like the documents or whatever. I've got everything stuffed in this main pouch. Here's the actual drone itself. Then you have the controller. It does come with some USB-C cables and the little charger dongle thing. I went ahead and got two and got a longer USB-C cable and put it in here. That way that the one they send is probably like maybe 18 inches long or something like that. And then here's your 3-bank battery charger that it comes with. And if you press this little side button, the little power button here, it shows you how much battery you have. So all of these are full. This can also be used as a battery bank, so you could like plug something into this on the out portion and then you can charge it, but then it's in for USB-C. So there's that. So really cool little setup here. So I'm going to start getting things ready. So first I'm going to start out with the controller. On the bottom you have the little control sticks. So I'm going to take those out and screw those in. There's that one. There's this one. Screw that in. So I got it set up there. Alright, so I'm going to orient you all to the controller. On the top here is where you're going to put your phone. So let me get my phone out. You do have to download this DJI Fly app. So I'm going to, you pull this up right here, and as you pull this up, they actually hide one of the little cables in here. That's the cable that you connect to your phone. It comes with other ones for different phones, but the one that came on the controller is for an iPhone, so it has that lightning connector on it. So I'm going to flip that out. Alright, so now I'm going to put my phone in here. I'm going to slide this in, and then I'm going to plug it in. Now, if you look right here, I had to modify my phone case so that I can use this with my phone case on. This is an old one. It actually has some cracks in it already, so I didn't really care, but I was taking my phone out, but I don't like taking my phone out of the case, so I modified it so this little cable has a little place to sit here, so I can actually plug it in with a phone case on. Alright, so I got the controller set up here, so let's orient you to the buttons. So you have your control stick over here on the left hand side, and that's the one you can go up or down, and then you can, if you go right, it makes it spin on the axis right, and if you go left, it makes it spin on the axis left. On the right hand side, this one, that makes it go forward, backwards, and then this one will make the drone go to the side, and then this side. You have your power button. This in the center here is just your different flight modes. So Cine is slow, normal is normal speed, and then sport is really fast. You have your pause and then land, return to home button right here. If you click this button here, it switches between camera modes, like whether you want to take pictures or whatever, or do video. On this side you have your function button, which I'm going to show you like a cool thing to do with that. And then on the very top here you have your record or take a picture button, and then this one is what adjusts your camera gimbal angle. Now, when you have the drone turned on, if you press and hold the function button and then do this, it actually will zoom your camera. And there went my box. It is a little windy out here, so I'm going to probably be a little bit more careful with the drone today. All right, so like I said before, I am a complete noob at doing drones. This is my first drone. It is a beginner type drone, but you can get really good quality out of it. I've been playing around with it in my yard, so let's start taking this off. This is the little prop protector, so that if you want to slide this in your pocket, you could slide it in your pocket and the props aren't going to break off or something. So we're going to take that off. We're just going to leave that sitting here. Now, it does have this gimbal protector on here, but we'll take that off in just a second. So to get started, these ones with the longer legs, you're going to flip them out to the front, flip that one out to the front, and then this one's going to flip up, and this one's going to flip up. I'm going to go ahead and take this little gimbal protector off. You do have to take that off. So it's got a little button right here. You're going to do that, and then it comes off. Don't want to lose that. Then we're going to get a battery out. So it's got a little push button on here that clicks it in. We're going to take that out. And all right, if you look at the back of the drone, I've got my SD card installed here. So let's push that back in. All right, got that back in. You do have a USB-C connection right here, so you can actually use that to charge the drone itself with the battery inside. But if you have the 3-bank charger, that's the way that I charge it. So when you go to put this in, the little tab here with the electrical connection goes up. So I'm going to push that in and push the cover back down. All right, let's move this stuff out of the way here. It is a little windy out here, so let's start it up. So I'm going to turn on the controller first. So I'm going to hit the button. When you hit the button, it shows how much charge is on there. This is fully charged, and then I'm going to hold it down, and then I'm going to do the same for the aircraft. On the bottom of the aircraft, the drone, you have this button. Same thing, press it once and then hold it in. It's going to make a little like sound there. You probably can't hear it, and then it does the doo doo doo. All right, so automatically connects because I've already got everything set up here. So right now, if you look at the little, it's got some things on the screen here that shows your battery, and then see it shows my RC signal there. It is cold, so I'm shaking a little bit, sorry. And then that little red thing is actually the satellites, so it's connecting with satellites right now. So now it's yellow or amber. All right, so now
point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
So now you can see that the satellite turned white. That means that it's got enough satellites to know exactly where it is. I am getting some codes up here. You can see there I got this error, compass error. Ensure there are no metal or magnetic objects near the aircraft and calibrate before use. I'm on a giant metal table. So I'm going to hit that calibration button, and it's going to tell me what I need to do. And I'll probably take this off from my hand because of this metal table. I don't really have a good place to put this. So I'm going to do this, follow the instructions. We're going to spin around, and we're going to point it up and spin around. All right, so when it comes to taking off, you can do it 2 different ways. One is there's this little button here on the controller. You see it has it up. If you hold this down and you'll see a little green thing go around, it's going to automatically take off. So we're going to do that this time just to show you guys. All right, so we've taken off. So if I want to go forward, I'm going to press this one. And when you start out, you can see I've got it on cine mode, and that's going to be the slowest one. We've got a significant wind here, but start off on cine mode just because that's the easiest to learn, especially whenever you're dealing with wind and other conditions. But then, like, if you really want to film and you get used to it, go to normal. You want to keep good visual eyesight of your drone. So let's get to going here. Like I said, I've only been doing this for about a week now, so I'm not the best, but it is pretty manageable. So what I'm doing is to change the angle, I'm using this wheel here. So I'm going to go down, kind of get a little bit more of what I want to see rather than just looking at the sky. So let's go play around. So as you can see, even after flying this for just a week, you can get some really cool shots with it, and it's a lot of fun to fly around and see different perspectives of things, and you can get some really cool video and pictures like this one using this drone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have this land in my hand because the conditions here on the ground are kind of not the best for landing, so I'm going to land this in my hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my hand underneath the drone, and then I'm going to hold the down toggle, and it's going to come down and land in my hand. Easy as that. So you can land this in your hand, that way you don't have to worry about getting it in the snow and all these bad conditions. And I'll be honest with you guys, my hands are completely frozen, so we're gonna, yeah. It always happens, guys, when I'm trying to talk to you, the camera, a truck goes by. This is a busy road. You really wouldn't think it'd be out here by this lake, but I'm gonna head back to the house, inside, warm up a little bit, and we're gonna talk more about the specs of this drone and some of the other features in the warmth of the house. All right, guys, well, I made it back to the house. Much warmer in the house, so I want to talk through some of the features on the DJI Mini 2. Now, this really isn't meant to be some big tutorial or something like that for you guys to learn every little feature about this drone. There's a lot of really good videos out there on learning how the ins and outs on how to operate this drone, and I'll link a couple down in the description below. But I'm talking more for the things that attracted me to buy this drone. All right, guys, I can take this chesty off. I don't need this anymore. We'll take his off too. We don't need this big old coat out there inside. All right, that's better. So one of the key things about this drone that attracts a lot of people to this drone is the fact that it's underneath of 250 grams. So that means that it doesn't have a lot of the regulatory requirements that a bigger drone would have. That as long as you're flying this as a hobbyist and not really for business purposes, that you can fly this without needing a Part 107 license for the drone and to be able to operate it. And you don't have to register the actual drone itself. Now, for most people, you don't need to get a license, but I will say that if you're a content creator and you're monetized like on YouTube, you might need to consult legal advice, because from what I have found, you might need to go ahead and get a license so you can fly this as a commercial entity, which is something that I'm going to work on because I'm not monetized yet, but I'm working on it. So one of the main problems with the Mini 1 was the range. It worked off Wi-Fi only, and it just had like a lot of issues with the signal. But this one uses OcuSync 2, and it's got a great range, up to I think 10-kilometer range, which is like, you know, for us American folks, is like 6 miles. So and they recommend that you really not operate it outside line of sight, and I don't know about y'all, but I can't see 6 miles, and I would never fly it that far personally. But I've never had any problems with the signal. So second is just ease of use of this drone. It's so easy to use. I'm a complete beginner, noob, and I have had no issues flying this drone. So I have crashed it 2 times, but that was my fault. I was flying it around my house just trying to get used to it, and there's a lot of trees, big trees where I live, and I ran into a branch as I was trying to follow my kids as they were going down the hill sledding. Alright, so next is the speed of this thing. This thing has a lot more power in the motors than the old one did. You can, you know, mess with the settings, so you can either use it in cine mode, normal, or the speed mode. And in the speed mode, this thing will straight up fly. It's got plenty of power. And as I've been flying this week, there's only been one time that I had a high wind warning. And if you saw the footage from out at the lake today, there was some pretty significant wind, and I never got a high wind warning. This thing's pretty powerful, and it's all tucked in this tiny little package. Now, next is the camera on this thing, and when you open it up, you notice that they put some nice little branding on the camera with 4K. It can shoot up to 4K 30 frames per second, so, and it's got a really good image. The dynamic range, which means the ability for it not to get blown out. So let's say that, like, you know, you have like a really bright light, but then a dark area, it might get blown out on the image side. But for somebody that's a beginner like me, it's not a huge deal. So being able to shoot in that frame rate is really convenient. And this is more of like a I'm on the go. I just kind of want to fly this and get some cool shots and then pack up and leave. It's definitely not like a professional quality camera, but which leads me to my next point aside from the video is the fact that this actually has the ability to shoot in JPEG plus RAW. So if you're as you develop in more of your content creation, especially if you're taking photos, you can actually take raw photos which are able to be manipulated more in post-production if you're editing them on like Photoshop or Lightroom or whatever you're editing them on. So that's kind of cool. That's a really neat feature for this cheap little drone. So the next thing I really like about this drone and just the whole setup is the fact that it uses USB-C throughout. So you got USB-C on the drone. You got USB-C on the charger. You got USB-C on the remote. So next is quick shots. And what quick shots is, it's several like very atypical type drone shots where either one, like your drone rockets up or it goes out. Droney is like where it goes out and then you can make it circle you. So one thing that this does lack is the auto tracking mode. It would be really nice on this drone. But I would say the reason that they didn't do that, like I've seen in several other reviews, is the fact that it only has downward facing sensors. It doesn't have side sensors, so it has no obstacle avoidance. But the quick shots are really cool if you're just looking into getting into this and you want to get a couple neat little shots and you're not really the best with the drone at that point. Now, I'm not going to go into quick shots and exactly how to use them and all that. There are tons of videos out there on YouTube that will probably explain it way better than I could because I've only had this sucker a week and I'm a total beginner. But I will link some videos down below that really explain how to use all the features of this to include the quick shots. So the last thing, probably one of the most major things that attracts people to this drone is the fact that it's so portable. Look how cute it is. That's my iPhone. It's bigger than it. Let's fold it up. Gotta fold these in. Boop. Boop. And then we'll fold these in. Boop. So look at this thing. Look how small it is. That is literally smaller in size of my phone. Now, granted, it's thicker than it. So I stepped away and put the propeller little guard on it. And with this propeller guard, you're not worried about sticking it in your pocket and it getting damaged. But look how small that is. You can literally shove this in your pocket, shove your controller in the other pocket, and you could take this and go fly it somewhere. Really anywhere. It's so portable. It's so easy. It's so little. And there's really no excuse not to take this somewhere with you. So even if you're a very minimalist person, you can throw this in your bag and get some really cool shots that you wouldn't be able to just with a camera from the ground. So what I want to end with, guys, is the downfalls of this. And I kind of discussed some of these earlier, but we're going to go through them really fast. So number one, it just has sensors on the bottom, so it has no obstacle avoidance. I have found myself hitting tree branches. I came really close to hitting some power lines one day. You just really have to keep in mind where you are at spatially in your environment so you don't crash this thing and ruin your investment. So the second thing is it does not have active track, and a lot of that's because it doesn't have the obstacle avoidance sensors on it, but you do have the ability to do those quick shots if you're looking for some of those like really like droney, like automated type shots. Third is the dynamic range on it. It's not that great, but it does have a really small sensor, and you're giving that up a little bit because it does fall into that 250 grams and you don't have those extra sensors and all that stuff, so you're kind of sacrificing that for the portability of this little guy. And finally, I'll just say that if you're wanting to shoot anything in slow-mo, you're going to have to go all the way down to 1080p to just even get 60 frames per second. So if you're really wanting to shoot a lot of slow-mo stuff, it's not really the best for you. So in my mind, the person that this drone was designed for is somebody just like me, a beginner, somebody that's just getting into this and kind of wants to see, dabble your little toe in the pool a little bit of the drone world and see if really doing drone stuff is really for you. It's not a huge investment, but you can still get really good results from this tiny package. It's for the person that just wants to carry this little guy around in their pocket, get some quick shots, don't really want to have to mess with it a whole bunch, and it's really easy to use. That's who this was designed for. And DJI did a great job because this thing is super easy to fly, it's fun, and overall I've really enjoyed having it. I've shot videos of my kids, I've shot videos of neighbors, I've just shot stuff around the neighborhood. I shot stuff at the lake today, and it's a lot of fun to use, and I plan on using it on my channel a lot more, and really just playing around with it because it's a lot of fun. But hopefully this video helps you out. If you're new to my channel, thanks for coming by and checking out this video. And as I always say, guys, don't forget, get outside, do something awesome, and take somebody with you if you get a chance. And I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully I'll be flying this sucker. Hopefully I can get out fishing because I'm tired of everything being frozen over. Sucks.